Hello and welcome back to the channel. This video, we're pulling the engine. Let's go ahead and start. So we are pulling the engine on this if you haven't seen my previous video, because as you can see here, the valve covers, there's goo, rust, crap everywhere. I'll throw some footage or pictures up of the actual valves themselves on the heads. They're absolutely disgusting. The engine needs rebuilt, can't be driven like this, oil just won't go through it. So we're gonna start the rebuild process. Wasn't expecting to do that yet, but here we are. So there's the heads. So what we're going to do here, radiator's got to come out. We'll drain in the radiator. We are taking the hoses off, taking the spark plugs, wires out, take the carburetor off, the coil. We will go ahead and take the water pump off, the alternator, probably the fuel pump as well, the fuel line going up to the carburetor, filter. There's no exhaust. We'll unhook the trans, probably pull that all out at once. So let's go ahead and start pulling stuff apart. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the carburetor off, and to do that it's pretty simple. Just take your fuel line off, your linkage over here, and it will come right on out of the car. Also, you got 4 nuts holding it down with the studs that are in the intake manifold. So once you take those off and get the linkage off and the fuel line, it should come straight up. So let's get that off. Water pump off, broke the head off this bolt. It was rusted to the water pump, and then it's also frozen the block. So we beat the crap out of the water pump, finally got it off, and this is the nastiness that is the inside of the water pump. That passage was basically blocked, and the whole bottom was full of nastiness. So now though, the engine can come out, and then we'll take the rest of it apart. So now let's go under the car to take the drive shaft off, take the starter off, and unhook the transmission. Mice had gotten into the transmission. So we got the drive shaft pulled out, got the speedo cable out, and the shift linkage is gone. The clutch is off. So now all we have to do is unbolt those bolts and unbolt the engine mounts. So got everything unbolted from underneath. Now I'm just gonna crank up a little, see maybe if it wants to come. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's wait for another day. It's currently raining outside. Well, the engine's off and the transmission's out. So now to disconnect them, I've never disconnected a manual before. Normally I just have to deal with a flywheel and a torque converter. So you got your bolts on your bell housing. You got some bolts up here. So I don't think I'm going to show this part because I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's where the mice had been living, in the bell housing. So let's get this apart now. So the mice had themselves a condo. There's it's all in the springs there, all up in there. There's some more in the bell housing. But yeah, they had a good time in this car. Too bad they got an eviction notice. Well, the engine's out. It's on its stand. I can see there's water all over there, and there's a ton of oil underneath the car that I need to get cleaned up. And the transmission's off. And as we can see here, C5 appears to be the original transmission, which I knew that basically. You saw the mouse nest in the bell housing. So now it's just a matter of tearing the engine down. Not sure what I'm doing with the trans yet. If I'm going to tear it apart and rebuild it, or if I'm going to send it off. Definitely going to put a new clutch in it, and it will get rebuilt, but I don't know if I'm going to venture down that. I've heard they're easy to rebuild, but with everything that needs done with the car, I'm not sure if I want to venture into that yet. So the next video will be tearing this engine down and getting the water out of it, heads, everything. This will be gutted down to the block, and then I need to find a machine shop locally to do the machine work on it, and then we'll get it back, rebuild it, paint it, and then set it under the workbench while this car gets a ton of sheet metal work done and eventually painted probably in 8 months. Wow. So yeah, thanks for watching. Next video, don't know what it's going to be, but most likely engine tear down or transmission or other stuff on the car. So thanks for watching. Hope this helped you see the struggles of taking the engine out, because I really didn't dive too much in depth, and all engines are different, but pretty simple. Disconnect everything and then it comes right out. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys here next time, and remember, get out in the shop and get your stuff done.